Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory be to Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rucha Kudash. And I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And blessings to the hopeful elect, out there listening and learning. And also teaching this word in sincerity and truth, in the hopes we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahweh Shai, especially in these last days. And this is going to be a quick little, like a news update, if you will. Might be old news to some people, some of you out there that, because we got to be watchmen, But regardless, if you see something, you got to speak on it, especially if it aligns with, biblical prophecy. The scripture says that the testimony of Yahweh Shai, is the spirit of prophecy. So, Lord willing, through the spirit, that's what we do, man. We tell you, and the word prophesy means to say before. So we're basically telling you things that's gonna happen, before they happen. What does the scripture say? New things do I tell you, and before they spring forth, I tell you of them. In fact, let me get that scripture. Before they spring forth, KJV. Before they spring forth, KJV. New things do I declare. This is Isaiah 42:9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So that's what the Lord's prophets, which is the mouthpiece of the Lord, is set up to do. Before these things, that are being declared, spring forth, the Lord tells you of them. That word spring, you got the term spring to action. So we're in a time where these prophecies are going to spring to action. Prophecies that haven't played out yet, are going to spring into action in these last days. And one of the major prophecies is, people being denied entry from one place to another. All right, and when they start setting up these chipping stations, because that's one of the major prophecies, the mark of the beast, spoken of in the book of Revelation 13 and 16, which we should all be familiar with that scripture because we drum that home because it's a major prophecy. All right, we drum it home to let you know what that specific prophecy is all about. Okay, so this is Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. That's everybody, man. Where you got this man's system set up, he's gonna cause these people in these cities and that to be connected to the internet of things, and the ultimate unification of that is going to be by you taking that chip. All right, and then he's going to be able to have complete control over you, like the conversation that was had with Alex Jones and Aaron Russo, speaking about the conversation between Aaron Russo and Nick Rockefeller, and he was telling pretty much Alex Jones that they want to chip everybody, and when which Elder Apostle Gabar goes into this all the time, but when Alex Jones heard that, what did he say? His response was total control, and it's true, total control. There's a term called totalitarianism definition. Now I'm just basically because I'm obviously driving and stuff, I've got to use the microphone in order to speak into it. Hey, the Lord, He's given us the, the tools to be able to, to be able to push out this word, which is beautiful, man. Absolutely, this guy's driving up my ass. Let me go into this lane so he can go past. See, this is what I'm saying. You got these demons on the road, and that's another thing. We got to pray, even, ask the Lord to protect our going outs and coming ins, man, because you got demons out here. Jumping on people behind the wheel. Like, you've actually got demons behind steering wheels in big metal boxes with wheels on them. And these things are like weapons. They can take you out. That's why we got to be careful. We got to be circumspect, Arkim. It says totalitarianism is a system or government, right? Which government means to control the mind. And these people's minds are controlled. You got these bread and circuses. You just had the BET. You had Will Smith that was performing, talking about he was, rapping to God. Well, he was really rapping to Satan. Dancing around in a circle of flames which Elder Apostle Tahar was speaking about at the camp. He said he went to the, because that guy was breaking it down. The truth is, you got certain of these YouTube pages that are set up to pretty much break down, which we're privy to it, We've been told about what the elites and, the rituals that are being done on the left-hand side. These open, ritual ceremonies, that people are attending ignorantly. They don't even realize that they're a part of the ceremony. They be clapping, they be dancing around to Will Smith, but they don't even realize this man's involved in a ritual. And they cast spells on people, man. Okay, when you attend these things, now you might think, oh, this guy, does he really believe that? Well, hold on a minute, man. The scripture says in Isaiah 47:12, stand now with thine enchantments. Wherein thou was labored from thy youth. Multitude of thy sorceries and that and whatever. That's what Esau's all about. Esau, he's been, pretty much, he's tapped into the left-hand side. The Lord has used him to pretty much tap into the left-hand side. They conjure up demons, they do ritual sacrifices, they're involved in all kinds of things, man. Adrenochrome, Pizzagate, pedophilia, sex magic. Okay, we go into this from time to time, man. Alright, we tell you why these things are happening is because guess what? This man, he's known as the wicked, man. He's not set up to do righteousness, bro. Okay, but then you got the wicked of our people that they're pretty much, they follow after the ways of the heathen, man. Worshipping idols, praying to these demons and that and whatever. I mean, they openly do this shit, in their music video. Here it is. You might think that they're talking about, in their lyrics, they're talking about something, but they're talking about something, something that they might be talking about flowers or something like that. But then really they're actually talking about Satan, They got hidden messages. Who was going into that again? I can't remember his name. Oh man, what was his name? And he was talking about, they pray over these records and they go to number 1 and so on and so forth, but they've got enchantments on them. Man, his name escapes me, man. Lord willing, it'll come back to me. Lord willing. But anyway, the definition of totalitarianism. This is a system or government that is centralized and dictatorial. And even when you go into the history, so they say civilization started with the Greeks, right? But who was trying to centralize that operation back in the time of the Greek Empire? All right, you had Antiochus Epiphanes, which he was known as a wicked root, by the way. That's how what the scripture says, that when Alexander, pretty much took power, that evils were multiplied in the earth. And then from the Seleucid line, one of these 4 generals was Seleucus, right? You had from that line sprang forth Antiochus Epiphanes, which was described as a wicked root. So, and the scriptures tell you that when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, man. So that's exactly what that's all about. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth. That's why you're seeing all these uproars and protests, the uproars of the people in the world. That's another sign of the times that we're at the end. Because the wicked is in rulership. The scriptures tell you in Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Okay? And that's exactly what, we're experiencing on the earth today. Alright? All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Nothing's in its right order. Why? Because the wicked is in rulership. The women are all feminists, they're all bugged out. They got these septum rings hanging from their fucking nostrils. The middles of their nose, they got these dumbass bull rings. They got these tats all over them. They're just degenerates, man. Okay, they've been given, the Lord said, a woman shall compass a man. Jeremiah 31:22. Which all of this stuff, that's all a part of, Esau pretty much destabilizing, the Israelite household, giving women power over men. And he comes to the woman's aid if the man's not around in the household. And these women, they can rely on the state. They can rely on the government. Big daddy government to pretty much pay their way. But soon there's going to come a time when they're going to cut that off. See, they used to getting you so hooked. But the scripture says that a gift destroyeth the heart. The Hebrew heart for the word is love, which is the mind. They get you hooked in on these gifts and that, giving you free money and that and whatever. But then all of a sudden, you're going to realize when that gets cut off, there's going to be there's going to be a reason why they cut it off, because they're going to want you to take that chip, which is what we're going into in this lesson, right? This is a system of government that is centralized. This is the definition of totalitarianism and dictatorial. right? What's a dictatorship? When they say something, you just got to do it. They're dictating to you and requires complete subservience, right, to the state. So, you know, subservience, man. Complete subservience, right? It says, what does the word subservience mean? It says a willingness to obey others unquestioningly, right? The condition of being less important than something else. Subservient, yeah, sub meaning under, like you got the word submarine. Under the water, you got these boats that travel underwater, you know? So you basically under the state, man. You know, you by taking that chip, you're declaring that Esau, he indeed, in fact, is over you, man. That he is your God, and you can't do nothing without him. So that's an open declaration. You receiving that badge of servitude. And when I say badge of servitude, I'm referring to the chip, the mark of the beast, okay? So let's go back to Revelation 13. Well, in fact, yeah, Revelation 13 and 16, and it says, and to receive. So it said free and bond to receive a mark in their hand, right hand, or in their foreheads. Okay? It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, the charagma, right? The Greek word for mark there is the charagma, right? Which is a physical thing that they're gonna push out, they're gonna push inside your flesh. That's gonna be emitting radiation. Right? When that shit's pinging off in your skin, it's gonna be emitting radiation. And that ties into Revelation 16 and 2. Right, where it speaks about a noisome and grievous sore, which when you go into that word sore, right, in the Greek is helkos, which means a discharge or a pus. So that's what's going to be happening to people that actually take that shit. They're gonna be oozing pus. You know, like you get a nasty, you know, infection. You know, you squeezing out pus out of it and it stinks, and that's what's going to be happening to these people, man. Because that shit is like a foreign, you know, they're going to be pushing a foreign object inside, which the scriptures speak about no cuttings in the flesh. There's a reason why that scripture exists, man. Okay? So, let me go into this article now. Because I don't want to just, you know, I want to go into this article. I want to get to the core of this lesson and the reason why I'm doing this lesson. So, this is from the Standard, alright? And like I said, it might be old news, you know, but I doubt it, okay? Because you got, the new Prime Minister of England, you know, is Keir Starmer. You know, now you got Labour power. You know, which, you know, it doesn't fucking matter. Jake will be going out there and voting. It don't fucking matter who's the Prime Minister ultimately, man, because they're just, you know, everything is made up. Everything's selected. It's already pre-selected. They know who's gonna run this and who's gonna do that, and because it's the elite's agenda, man. All right, and they're pushing that behind the scenes, you know, and unbeknownst to you, ignorant individuals, you know, remaining in that state of blissful ignorance, you don't know what's going on. All right, and that's why we're set up to tell you what's going on, you know, and to tell you about these prophecies mainly. All right, it says Blair. This is the Evening Standard, right? It says Blair, right, one of the former prime ministers of England. He said Blair urges Keir Starmer, the new prime minister, all right, newly appointed, to introduce ID cards to avoid vulnerability on wokeism. Okay, it says little more than 24 hours after the Prime Minister entered Downing Street, Sir Keir's predecessor, right, has publicly offered advice for his time in office. Right? Sir Tony Blair has urged Sir Keir Starmer to introduce the digital identity cards to avoid vulnerability on wokeism. Alright, so they ain't pussyfooting around this. Like, they ain't wasting no time. They're letting you know, right, straight off the bat what they mean to do. Alright, and them identity cards, you know, which they're gonna go into it, okay? They're gonna go into it. Because you got, what do they call it? The newly named party, or it used to be UKIP and that, whatever, Nigel Farage, but they got Reform. And they be fucking sparking up, you know, even that's uproars of the people. Reform. They got a lot of support. I think they won, right, that area over there in Clacton. They got seats over there in that, you know, that jurisdiction over there, or that region in Clacton, where you got a lot of these Brits over here. They're complaining about these immigrants coming over, you know, pretty much fighting age men that are being put up in these plush hotels and getting paid accommodation. They're being given like a monthly, payments, so to speak. Right, and they're being flown over here without passports and stuff. look, we be seeing these things, but why are the elites allowing these things to happen? They're allowing these things to happen because they want chaos, right? Remember, there's a term called ordo ab chaos, man. Order through chaos. And now, in response to all of these immigrants coming over, now you got the predecessor to Keir Starmer, right, giving advice, all right, about introducing identity cards in order to prevent this, right? It says, in the early intervention of the little more than 24 hours after the Prime Minister entered Downing Street, the predecessor has publicly offered advice on how to approach his time in office. Sir Tony, whose attempt to roll out ID cards while in power was killed off, right, by the following coalition government, called for a new digital system to help with border control. You see that? To help with border control. Now, they'll push that and they'll present it to you people out here like it's a beautiful thing, that it's gonna solve the problem. Well, guess what? Who created the problem? Remember, there's a thing called, Hegelian dialectic. Problem, pressure from above and pressure from beneath. Problem, reaction, solution. So Esau comes with the problem and he'll tell you that this is the problem. He'll point at the problems that he's created, but then also simultaneously, coincidentally, he ends up having a solution for that problem that he created. And that's why the scripture says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, and let Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we have to understand what this man's planning with these identity cards, and they'll present it to you as a thing like it's that you should feel good about. Okay, that you should be with, you should be for it, in order to prevent this chaos of our borders being overrun, people coming in on these boats and planes and so on and so forth. But guess what? Esau is allowing them to come in. He's allowing this form of chaos to play out because he wants chaos so that he can come forth with the more draconian measures. And when I say draconian, the word draconian goes back to excessively harsh and severe measures, man. That's why the scriptures speak about it in Revelation 13, right? About the two horns like a lamb that spake as a dragon. See, they'll come to you like a lamb. They'll put on these suits and they'll tell you the great plans of what they're planning to do, whether it's conservative, whether it's Labour, whether it's Liberal Democrat, whether it's reform or whatever. They'll tell you they got plans on how they can fix this and how they can fix that. Well, really, it's mainly focused on the blue and the red, which you've got the conservatives, right, and the Labour. Okay, over there in America, you got the Republicans and the Democrats, right? You got Trump and Biden, which that's nothing but a fucking, a theater act, man, a play. You see them going back and forth. They're mugging each other off. When I say mugging each other off, they're cussing each other. On the podiums. Oh, can you do this? Can you play? You know what I mean? Can you carry my golf bags? And can you do? Oh, look at you, you're old. You're doing it. And pretty much America's looking stupid because look who's at the helm of America, or the middle, or the night manager of America right now, Biden. And this guy can't even stand up straight, man. He's fucked up. But now, guess what? You got the great red hope, which is Donald Trump. Which we're gonna see what they're gonna do with that, because if, let's say for example, I don't know, they managed to swing up Kamala Harris up in there somehow. Like Elder Apostle Tahar said, the good old boys, they're gonna storm. They're gonna storm America. The good old boys, the Proud Boys and that, they're gonna storm that White House, man. Okay, so remember, we gotta have our eyes open and our eyes peeled, right, to see what's going on, because at any moment in time, chaos can pop off. Just like COVID happened, chaos popped off, lockdowns were introduced, draconian measures were pushed, right, in response to that chaotic situation that they spun out of control. Okay, and now it's coming out that these the jump shot that people were lining up and taking, that was causing people pretty much to get fucked up. Okay, give me a second. So okay, just bear with me. Right, that's okay. I was just checking something. Yeah, that was causing people to get fucked up. People just passing out, people just dropping dead, people having blood. I mean, look, we can go into all them kind of scenarios in response to what they did, But I just don't want to get this video flagged, and that's that. All right. But look, these identity cards, in response to the chaos of the border you know, the immigrant crisis and this and that and whatever, you know, people are going to be all for that. Okay? So it says, writing in the Sunday Times, he said, the only game changer is the full embrace of the potential technology of, you know, of the potential of technology. The potential of technology. Now that's a broad brush that they're painting with. And that technology includes ultimately the mark of the beast, which is the chip. Okay? That chip is going to be the ultimate thing to solidify, you know, no longer having any form of privacy at all. Alright? That's why the scripture goes on to say that no man might buy or sell. So it's going to do with buying and selling as well. Okay? It says, he added, we need a plan to control immigration. If we don't have rules, we get prejudices. In office, I believe the best solution was a system of identity so that we know precisely who has a right to be here. Now you got them reform, yeah, he's right on that. Yeah, look, yeah. Yeah, bring out the ID cards. And then all of a sudden, it's going to go from the ID cards, right, to that method of identification being inside of you, merge with you, you know, in the form of the chip. That no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. You know, they can do things with that chip. They can turn your chip off. They can blackmail you with it. Like the movie In Time. And you saw how they were living on the outskirts. They were pretty much, people were just, you know, working, you know, for handouts, you know, lining up to receive their little, you know, little pennies that they could per day. And they were just living to exist. You know? Hey, Justin Timberlake was in that movie. And I remember his mum, you know, in the movie, his mother, like, she ended up dying because she ran out of time, you know? And they were living on them outskirts. They were living like pretty much through handouts. And what did they push with the World Economic Forum? What, you will own nothing and you will be happy, you know? You will own nothing. The Great Reset, man. So they're looking to do something in order to push out these draconian measures, man. That New World Order agenda. And that message has never changed. You know, from us over here at Great Millstone, starting with the apostles and the elders on down. That message has not changed, man. And that's why we keep telling you what they plan to do with these things. Right? The plans of the wicked. Alright? And that's why, the scripture says in Ephesians 5:15, see then that you walk circumspectly, as wise and not as fools, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So we have to be circumspect. Alright? Keep our eyes peeled to what's going on. Alright, always watching. Like the scripture says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, which shall never hold it, you know. O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silent, till he establish and make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. You know? So we gotta keep on, you know, we gotta keep on sounding this alarm. Like the scripture says in Joel 2:1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Alright, so we're getting ourselves ready for the day of the Lord, man. And what does the day of the Lord entail? Because that's what the scripture says. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? What does that day mean to you? Now, I watched a movie last night, that movie Nope, okay, which it was on Netflix. And that movie was bad, man. Like, it was showing you, like, you know, pretty much the chariots and how they, you know, they all up in the clouds and they can disguise themselves in the clouds and that and whatever. They're pretty much just putting that in that movie. And they even quoted a scripture at the beginning of the movie, man. I think it was Nahum 3:6. You know, which I'm gonna do a lesson on that, Lord willing, going into the chariots, man. Right? Which we know what the chariots are. Okay? We know what is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, that are about to enter into the house of the thief. Which, who's the major thief on the earth? Esau. Everything he got, he stole. Which this is going into a whole different lesson. But guess what? Who's going to be leading those chariots? Who's going to be leading the armies of heaven? You know, in those last days. Going into what? Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord, what does it entail? Right? Yahweh Shai coming and invading this place with the armies of heaven. That's what the day of the Lord entails, man. That's what it means for the Lord to come back, to wreak havoc on the earth. Who is this that coming from Edom, right? With dyed garments from Bozrah. Bozrah was an ancient capital city of the Edomites, which spiritually today represents what? America. Alright, America is also known as Sodom and Egypt. The scriptures tell you about that in Isaiah the 19th chapter as well. The Lord shall come into Egypt upon a swift cloud, right? That goes into that too. So Lord willing, I'm gonna do a lesson on that movie Nope. You know? And I remember when the trailers of it were coming out, I kind of got excited at the trailer. I was like, damn, they putting chariots in it. So it's like a film of the chariots, you know? On the chariots and that. And they show you like people getting fucked up with the chariots and that and whatever. You know, and you know, and they were moving sleek through them clouds, man, them chariots. You know? So that's what I'm saying. Esau don't know what the fuck he's messing with, man. Hey, the Lord's technology, the Most High, he's got like chariots that don't need to run on petrol and look, man, they just fly at blinding speeds of which Esau couldn't even dream of obtaining, man. You know? They can, you know, reappear, they can disappear, they can change direction at a moment's notice. They can do all kinds of shit. And Yahushua gonna be leading a whole fleet of them, you know, when he enters this place. And this is why, man, this is why we want to get ourselves ready for the return of Yahushua, man. This is about salvation. Okay? And that's why we're blowing the trumpet. Like, constantly as well. We're blowing the trumpet constantly. Because it's about fearing the Lord. Alright? So with that, man, you know, I just wanted to do a little quick lesson. You know, just a little quick news update. You know, on this new, you know, advice from the predecessor to Sir Keir Starmer. You know, the old Prime Minister, Tony Blair, he was telling them, look, you got to start introducing these digital identity cards. Now, could this be the year? All right, while he's in, or could it be the years while he's in office that this pops off, that actually happens? Hey, it very well could be, man. You know, because this is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And when they start doing these things, man, they're gonna, through draconian measures, they're gonna introduce it, right? Especially when they're pushing out that chip and they start setting up them chipping stations, man. You know? That's when everyone's gonna realize and wonder, hold on a minute, what if what them guys were saying were true? What if what the prophets were saying is true? Well, they told us that they were gonna do this. And the method that they're gonna do it, hey, the scripture says they're gonna be like madmen sparing none. They're gonna be like Handmaid's Tale, man. Like the children of men. They're gonna be grabbing people up and putting them into concentration camps. Oh, and now, I believe he had his first cabinet meeting, Sir Keir Starmer, and they were talking about, look, in order to tackle, you know, the overflowing prisons and that, which they were saying about letting prisoners out like ahead of their time, and you know, because they got to do time in prison, but they're saying about because of the overwhelming prisons system, they can't deal with the numbers. They're full to the brim, so they're having to cut people's sentences short and, you know, give them like an early release. But they're saying that now, they're saying in order to tackle that, they want to start building mini prisons all over the UK. You know, basically mini detention centers, man, which it could be going into that. So we got to, it could play out. We got to see how it plays out. You know, if they start doing these things like pop-up prisons, you know, all over the place. So we got to watch, man. We got to see what's going on. All right. So that's another thing to speak on too, because we know how this devil gets down. All right. Remember, ordo ab chaos. They'll tell you that it's for this and it's for that, and it's gonna make more sense. And in order for us to do this, we need to do this measure, and we need to put up these prisons all over the UK, and you know, they're like mini prisons. They were talking about mini prisons, you know, and we need it because of the overflowing situation of our current prison system, and that's how they present it to you, man. But because they speak to you and they got that suit on when a rich man speaketh, you know, for the average peon out there, oh yeah, but it makes sense. Not even realizing that the sword is being sharpened. Not even realizing that this devil has got plans for you individuals out here, man. You know, while you're, you know, all up in, you know, intertwined in your bread and circuses, while you're heavily distracted, while you there worrying about the NFL and the Super Bowl, and you know, you are distracted by these modern day gladiatorial arenas. These modern day gladiatorial games, you know, NFL, you know, the octagon boxing, and you know, being distracted with these things. I'm not saying you can't watch them, but I'm saying like don't get all up immersed in it to the point where you don't know what the fuck's going on around you, man. Because this devil's got plans, bro. Okay, remember, we gotta be wise, man. We gotta be circumspect. The word circumspect means to look around. to spectate around. That's how we have to be. Alright? So anyway, like I said, with that, like, I pray you were edified. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect.